Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Oklahoma Venture Forum podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Golding. I'm joined today by Robert Washington from ShelterShare, a great startup that's going to be part of our pitch day for OKC on April 10th, the OVF Pitch Day OKC. We did this in Tulsa in March, very popular. We're doing it again in April here in Oklahoma City. So today we're going to talk about ShelterShare, but also on April 10th, there will be BaristaBot, Flexi, ClaimRev, and Sugar Security. But today we're talking with Robert and ShelterShare. So give everyone quickly what ShelterShare is, and then let's get into the deeper conversation about your journey, the process, everything, and where you are today from the original idea to where we got to. So tell us what ShelterShare is.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you having me on today. ShelterShare, is a platform where we're helping the unhoused market and the nonprofit organizations have real-time bed availability for the beds that they have at their shelters.
Okay.
So we go out, I'm doing customer discovery in nonprofits and volunteering to be able to find out what the pressure points are that they need and being able to come back and being able to apply this later.
An obvious issue all over the country, all over the world, but definitely in the United States, we have homeless issues in most major metropolitan areas, right? And like you said, nonprofit organizations are attempting to address that. So you're going to be in a technology bridge for that?
Absolutely. So our software is a white label software, so it is not built yet. I want to make that clear.
Okay.
It is available for us to be able to customize it to your needs. We have our software developer on site or already on staff. So the way I'm doing that is being able to go out and find out what the unhoused market is needing, and I get all that information with all my customer discovery. We're also tackling that by being lifeline providers. So now ShelterShare is a lifeline provider.
Okay.
So we can give the lifeline service, and we are pre-downloading the ShelterShare app on there before that. That way they already have the resources. So once we go back to the nonprofits and the organizations, the users already have the software and are looking for it.
Right. So you've done a lot of work to get to this point. It sounds like you're almost right there. You're ready to kind of launch and get out into the world and start doing great things.
Yes, sir.
But I also know, I've heard you pitch a few times over the last couple of years, that before you got to this point, there was a lot of work, a lot of effort, and even a pivot.
Yes.
Let's have that conversation.
The pivot came from, well, I'll just say beforehand we was doing this thing with the storm. So I still want to do that. That's still my passion. I still care for my
storm
Oklahoma
shelters, right?
Yeah, the storm shelters, being able to find the storm shelters before storm. The pivot came because there's not a lot of events that happen, and that's good and bad. Obviously, we don't want tornadoes to hit our city, but at the same time,
we can't control that.
Yeah. But at the same time, we have to be able to be scalable, you know. So there's not enough events, and there's not enough storms that just happens to be able to justify that. So the alternative was to make that pivot, find something else that needed to do that, and can still be able to help that same group of people. So the unhoused still need shelter. Unfortunate loss of life, people who have financial loss, all these people are still seeking shelter in some type of form. So we're just here for all things shelter. And that was my vision to begin with. It just started with the storm shelters.
And at what point in this process did you speak to someone, or someone contacted you, or what kind of conversation happened where you said, instead of this focused on just storm shelters, maybe it needs to be this community focused and the unhoused, and what opportunity presented itself that led you down that path?
Absolutely. Actually, a good mentor of mine, she just mentioned it one day, and she was just like, you got to find something that's scalable, something that's going to be different.
True.
Yeah, and she just said, what about the unhoused market or something like that? And I was like, okay, I thought about it. And then I went to unhoused meetings. I just jumped into that, into that ecosystem.
Like a good entrepreneur.
Yes, sir. You go right out there, jump into those meetings, and then I just started building relationships on that side and understanding their pain points, what they were looking for. And it kind of came from that. And then it just started growing. I was like, okay, this is a need. I do see this as a need, and this is something that I'm already trying to solve. So let's just bridge the two together.
And I know you've been in at least one incubator.
I've been in several.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the process of incubators, accelerators, and how it helped you work through the iteration of your idea to where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend them to anybody. They're great things to be able to meet people like you, to open up your network, and just to be able to get a perspective from someone else. Right. I recommend it to anybody. I've been in some great ones, but once you get in the ecosystem and you start just being involved, it's kind of the same at that point in time. Like you notice everybody's at the same events and
Right.
everything. So once you really just get in there, go through one or two accelerators and just get involved in the ecosystem, you'll be all right.
Any shout outs you want to give out there?
Yeah, to everybody, to Elizabeth, to Dayton, to Christy, to The Verge. I mean, I have a huge list. To you, like, I mean, I tell people I keep an ongoing list of people who have helped me in this process. And when that time comes, I will be thanking all of you. Donna from Builders and Backers as well. So
And now you're going to be pitching at OVF, so you
Yes.
can add that to your list
absolutely.
as well, right? So, a lot of entrepreneurs, before we started rolling the cameras, I said, almost everyone has a pivot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the best entrepreneurs lean into that pivot, and the ones who kind of fall off are the ones who really resist it. So in your mind, as you were working through this process and starting to realize that maybe you need to make a change, maybe make a pivot, how did you kind of personally work through that and ultimately make the hard decision to say, okay, I'm going to do this?
I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. Like when you make a pivot, it's literally starting from ground zero again. I had did all of this stuff at the beginning of ShelterShare. Then you like, I got to make a pivot. It's a complete shift. It's customer discovery all over again. It's the product market fit. Like it's all these things gonna work the way that I thought this first idea was gonna work. But I embraced the pivot. You do have to lean into it and then just get back out there. Again, if you were already in those accelerators, go out there and lean on those people again. Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I like to do. And I did that with several people, and they was like, I like the pivot, like good pivot, like, so yes, just embrace it and run with it. Like it's starting from ground zero, but the knowledge that you already have from what you learned from the first time, you can just apply it to this to go around.
It's just a continual building process.
Exactly.
So you mentioned that your tech is being built and it's getting close. You have your tech team put together. So as you move forward from April 10th on, as you're pitching and you're looking for support and investment, et cetera. So what are you looking for to help you get there? And what do you think that timeline looks like? And what's the vision and future moving ShelterShare forward?
Absolutely. We're looking to partner with the nonprofits, the organizations who help with any type of social services. So unhoused, soup kitchens, unfortunate domestic violence. I just hate saying that one but any of those things like that. Our software is white label, so we can build our software to your needs according to who you serve. But again, all these people on the unhoused, when we passing out these cell phones, they already have one end of it. So we just need to connect the dots on the other end. The future of it, I look like, we're going to take over Oklahoma, whether any of these nonprofits, they want to play ball, like, come on, let's go.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, and let's scale to Tulsa and just start going regional. So in 3 to 6 months, I really plan on making this be a full-blown thing. We're doing the cell phone company where we're actually starting our own cell phone company so we can be able to have ShelterShare on there.
Okay.
So that is another bonus that I have. And I even have something else in my hip pocket for you investors when we can talk later. But
bold moves. I like it.
Yeah, we have the cell phone company and we'll put ShelterShare on there. Again, we're already reaching the market that the nonprofits and the organizations need. So we just need you guys to play ball.
So what are you looking for after you pitched OVF? What kind of investment or partnership are you looking for?
I'm just looking to get the first one that really wants to sit down and let's build this according to how you want to do it. So we can do beta testing and we can do discovery together. Because again, I like to say that it is white label, it is first edition. So whoever I partner with first is really just going to be near and dear to me because we're going to have to go through this together to be able to build this out to make sure that it's right. So we can, pick it up and do it. So, I just want to work with somebody who cares about this market and who believes in the technology that can help it. And like I said, we'll be helping you to shrink like your caseload. The case managers are overworked. So to be able to shrink their caseload and to be able to get more outreach, I think that's the benefit of it.
So ultimately, an organization is going to pay a fee, or is it a subscription, or how's that going to work? How they're going to pay you, and that way you can make your money back and work with your investor, and I'm sure to expand and grow and do more with.
Absolutely. So we have an enterprise version that we can do, but if you want to work with us personally, we'll customize it to you. We'll build it out to your stuff. It'll be, say for instance, I don't want to call anybody out, but we'll say the Homeless Alliance. It'll be Homeless Alliance powered by ShelterShare. So it'll be one of those instances where we'll still have the IP, the code, so we can pick it up and do it again, but we'll build it out like that.
And ultimately, like we said earlier, this is a problem that's plaguing the entire planet. But when you think about how many cities from the smallest towns to the biggest metro areas across the country have this issue, the scope of your market is pretty considerable.
It is very large. When I really dived in and started looking at how many nonprofits and that offer different social services, it's crazy. And then just to understand that the revenue that they generate and the assets they have. So this is something that is affordable, and I know this is something that they need. So again, like calling y'all out, let's play ball.
I like it, like a good entrepreneur. Again, he's taking his shot. He's throwing the gauntlet down, and he said, "Let's get this done. Right?
Let's get this done.
Let's make this available. Let's create as much shelter as we can for the people that need it.
Absolutely.
And as much as we would like these issues in our society to not be there, they are, right?
They are.
And so all we can do is do our part to relieve create some help and relief, right?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, I've noticed that some of them are just financial loss. Some of the unhoused market, it's not all mental health. It's not all drug abuse. It's literally people who have just lost their jobs or just, again, loss of life, things of those nature that put them in a strain to where they're just trying to get back on their feet. So when I'm out here doing the customer discovery, and I see that it's not just one side of the person that you see sitting on the side of the street. It's not always that type of situation. So sometimes these people just need to help up, and I just want to be able to help them up.
Now, I've said a couple times already that that's a response of an entrepreneur. You strike. Obviously, you are an entrepreneur, and you're walking the walk. You're talking the talk. At what point in your life what made you think, I think I need to go out on my own. I think I need to do this, and no one else is stepping up. I'm going to be that guy. How did you become entrepreneurial?
It was always in me. I would just say it's always been in me. I just didn't have the resources. I didn't have the people that I could talk to. So once I got in the ecosystem and realized that this type of environment does exist, it just fuels my fire even more. So, I love this stuff. Like, I try to be in any event that I can. I try to talk to as many people as I can because that just fuels me. It keeps me going to help try to solve this problem. I wish I would have known earlier. I wish these type of programs, ecosystems, accelerators would have been around earlier. I really believe I would have been further along, and I really believe a lot of people would have been further along if they were.
And I think most people would agree. Everyone's going to agree. Oklahoma City has been a little bit slow on the uptick there, but right now, today, we're in a really good, sweet spot where a lot of great things are happening. We have a lot of great funders, a lot of great funding opportunities, a lot of great entrepreneurs with a lot of great ideas, and organizations like OVF and G-Beta and The Verge and 1 Million Cups, et cetera, right, that are being the bridge. All right? Fine. So it's finally here.
Absolutely.
We're taking advantage of it.
We're taking full advantage of it. We don't have to travel. We don't have to try to get to the coast. We don't have to try to get up to Tulsa. It is right here in our backyard. And I encourage everybody to take full advantage of it. Like, I can't speak on it highly enough. And I tell all of them when I see them, like, I'm going to pat you on your back. Your day is coming because this has helped propel me so far. And being a solo entrepreneur, you need that sometimes. You need that group of people to help you and be able to go. And then just being in those accelerators, and they do alumni events where you get to come back and just reconnect with everybody. It really feels good.
So you guys have heard Robert's passion today. He's got the idea. He's got the tech in place. He's got everything ready for his pitch on April 10th. So I want to make sure everyone knows to attend the April 10th OVF meeting, the Oklahoma City version of Pitch Day at Metro Tech Spring Lake, which is on Spring Lake Drive, which is over on the east side over by the zoo. And Science Museum of Oklahoma is where Metro Tech is over there. So you guys, one more time, April 10th, 11:30 to 1, the OVF Power Pitch Lunch for April 2024. We're going to have ShelterShare, but also Barista Bot, Flexi, Claim Rev, and Sugar Security all pitching. There'll be 5-minute pitches. There'll be Q&A. Then you'll have time afterwards to meet the entrepreneurs, meet Robert, meet the other pitch presenters, and ask them questions, get their contact information, throw ideas at them, whatever it is that you're interested in. And if you're hearing this afterwards, make sure and check out the rest of the OVF podcast and the YouTube channel for those presentations. So I appreciate you coming on the podcast today. Appreciate everyone for listening. And make sure you go to ovf.org to make sure and sign up for this event. We'll see you there.